Welcome to OtakuGeeks.com. Justin here, back with more Essential Anime. This is episode 63, and today we are going to be talking about Macross 2, Lovers Again, or the official title, Super Dimensional Fortress, Macross 2, Lovers Again. As always, I do give you a brief synopsis, so without further ado, here we go. A new splinter race of the Zentraedi show up, the Marduk. While the Zentraedi were defeated by Lynn Minmay's music, the Marduk have their own singers, which they call emulators, spur their soldiers into battle. A reporter named Hibiki captures a Marduk emulator, Ishtar, while reporting on a battle and proceeds to teach her of the happy, fun nature of peace and love, which she shares with the rest of her people. And this is going to be a very divisive entry because there's two groups of people that love Macross 2 Lovers Again, and people who absolutely detest and hate this with a passion. And that's exactly why it's essential anime, because if it's so divisive, it might be something you want to check out. And the reason I put this first, and don't worry Macross fans, I will do Macross Do You Remember Love and the original Macross series, Macross Plus, etc. So don't worry, those are down the pipeline. But the reason why I chose this particular one is because this is how I was introduced to Macross. This was my first taste of Macross. And just to give a backstory, remember, for those who are consistently watching our videos and been riding with Otaku Geeks all these years, you know that Robotech is one of my favorite animes of all time because it's one of my first animes besides Akira. And I was introduced to the world of Macross through Robotech, the Harmony Gold productions and things of that nature. So I was not aware of Macross until my early teens. And Macross 2, Lovers Again, was my introduction to Macross. And I love the film. I love the animation. I love the themes. I love the fact that it was a little bit different. And I'll get into why people hate it in a bit. But I like the fact that it wasn't from a soldier's point of view. Instead, it was from the point of view of a journalist and someone who loves journalism, who loves doing things like this. I was just instantly gravitated to Hibiki. And when we first meet Hibiki, he's not the most seasoned or honest journalist. He's more of a gossip column type of person who is basically trying to get scoops and things like that. And it wasn't until he really got into under the wing of a cameraman, a war veteran, journalist, war veteran, Dennis, who takes him under his wing, that is where he starts to appreciate the craft of journalism. And I really did enjoy that. I like his character, but I would say what has people so divisive is that it doesn't do enough to stray away or bring anything new to the Macross lore and sagas. A lot of the complaints that I've seen from people is that it doesn't do anything new under the sun. Is basically kind of a rehash with the Zentraedi and using the theme of love and music to basically overcome the odds, which is fair criticism. But I will say that for me, someone, I guess because I wasn't well versed in the Macross side of things, and I was more heavily into Robotech, even though, yes, there is differences, people. I was more into the Robotech side that I really didn't mind it. And yes, I know after watching Do You Remember Love, I can see where people can get the comparison that Macross 2 didn't do as much. But I still feel like it's essential because, one, it's a decent story. Two, I like the characters of Hibiki and Ishtar. And even though Ishtar is nothing new under the sun, instead is the Zentraedi now. I mean, you can compare Miriam and Ishtar, and you can take the story of Max and Miriam and replace it with Ishtar and Hibiki, and you pretty much practically get the same story. Of course, Miriam being a Zentraedi, she falls in love with Max. She learns the same ways. So yes, I get that. I truly understand the people who hate this movie. I understand how it's copy and paste, but I'm putting it here because it is a special place for me, because this is how I was introduced to the wonderful animation styles of Macross, and just seeing it English dub wise, not the best. It really isn't the best dub of the English dub, especially the original dub. It is that 80s, 90s English dub where where the performance is either a complete hit or a complete miss. And Ishtar's voice in this one, it just doesn't work for me. I like Hibiki's voice actor. He did a decent job, but Ishtar's voice was a little bit annoying and just aggravating, and I wish I had a sub version of this movie. But overall, action wise, while it's not that much action heavy, but it is more character study on Ishtar, the Zentraedi, and them trying to really kind of adapt to the way of life, which obviously the Macross series, and like I said, Miriam and Max just did that heavily in their love story. But it's still a decent um movie to watch. I think the music was good, the dub not that great, but I did like the fact that it was from a journalistic perspective, and I think a lot of people should still pick this up because I think what makes this one work is at the end of it, it is a love story at heart. It shows the power of love and music and how that can bring people together, especially with this Zentraedi being so ignorant and just being nothing but bred for war constantly. I thought it did a really good job. And you know what? I'm going to give this a watch. This is definitely something I think people should watch, mainly because it's very divisive, but I still really like the film. I mean, the thing I will say is that the English dubs is probably the one that really bugs me the most is the dubbing of this, but it still has some solid animation, has some really great use of lighting, especially some of these interrogation scenes in here. The great use of lighting when the soldiers are interrogating Hibiki, the way they have the shadows in the background, the foreground, and it's pretty good. I really did enjoy it. So, what did you think of Macross 2 Lovers Again? Are you team Macross 2 or did you find this to be dull, boring, and pointless? It's for me, I think it's still an OVA to watch. It's not as good as Do You Remember Love, obviously, but it's still, I think, a worthy addition to the Macross name. And I definitely wanted to put this on Essential Anime. I will be doing Do You Remember Love, so don't worry about it. That's coming down the pipeline. This is Justin from otakusangeeks.com. If you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Comment below. Let me know what your thoughts are on Macross 2. And if you're watching this on otakusangeeks.com, browse our website, check out our interviews, our podcast, the whole enchilada. Thank you for your support. Peace, love, and happiness. Later days, I'll catch you on the next Essential Anime.